Good, except for this trap they put here every time for me. You think I'd learn? All right, guys, fire away.
Is there any worry of when you look at the two opponents coming up that your players may in any way overlook Oregon State thinking ahead to Oregon? What do you do to combat that?
They better not. And, as a competitor, you only get so many nights. You get to go compete against another team. And, I tell our guys, would you rather practice or would you rather play a game? So, and obviously we know what the answer is, so you handle it accordingly. So, I'm not worried about that. Obviously Oregon State will get our full attention just like anybody else.
Did you know Wayne prior to taking this job?
I did. Yeah, Wayne's, he's from Spokane. Spent grew up there. Obviously I think he grew up back in Chicago a little bit too, but then his family moved to Spokane, and actually, he grew up in the same neighborhood where I ended up living most of my time in Spokane, and Wayne's sister was, I think, all my kids' fourth grade teacher. So yeah, for sure, know him well.
Tell me what the success that you had. Are you starting to hear from more people around basketball, more friends from back up in Washington?
Believe it or not, I don't have many friends. So no, for sure you're hearing from people and other coaches, but honestly, in the season, I think you're just so focused on your team and your group's journey that gets the bulk of your attention, and there's not too much time for outside conversation, and I'm not looking for pats on the back or anything, so I'm not out looking for that stuff.
How much do slow starts concern you? It's happened quite frequently lately.
They happen, and honestly, it's a good thing to go through them. You're not wishing for them, but as you think you're building your team, to hopefully have a successful postseason, inevitably it's going to happen in one of those games. How do you respond? And I think our guys' response for the most part has been pretty good, but also I think we need to figure out why some of those slow starts are happening, and is it us? Is it our opponent is really excited to play and makes a few shots and playing better, or is it a combination of both? And usually it's a combination of both. So we're definitely not going to overreact.
Is there one particular thing that they're doing well when they get down big and they're facing adversity and they come back and kind of get on a run there?
Well, I just think their energy picks up a little bit, and obviously you start executing a little bit better defensively, and if you can get something on the defensive end that creates something easy on offense, that's always a positive to kind of get you kick-started a little bit. And then offensively, you just get a little bit more efficient, and I've been pretty pleased so far this year when we've had to call those tough timeouts, how our guys have responded. It's not a guarantee when you call a timeout that you're going to come out and things are going to get better, but for the most part, this group's done a good job.
When you look at Oregon State, what happened to them?
I don't have a great history in the conference, obviously, but obviously I know, what that team did last year, and that run they got on where they kind of caught fire, which was pretty awesome. And, obviously we were in the bubble with them, so we were, side by side with them for, a couple weeks. I don't know specifically what happened, and listen, I'm preparing for them to play their best game tomorrow. So, that's where my mind is. I haven't tried to dissect, their issues, because we all got our own issues and we all got our own problems, and I think my attention needs to be focused on Arizona basketball, not on trying to figure out, what went wrong or right with other people.
Can you preview Oregon State offensively, defensively?
Yeah, Oregon State, offensively, they have, I'm not great with names, so, I think it's number 2. The kid can really shoot. He can really shoot. And so a lot of things kind of go through him. And then, and then they have, a point guard, I think, is leading the league in assists, number 13. He's great jet quick off the dribble, and he's doing a good job setting it up. And they have a couple big guys. Silva is, a legitimate size. And Alatishe, is a 4-man who, played a prominent role on their run last year. I think their shooter's name, now that it's coming to me, got me thinking, Jared Lucas. And he played in all those tournament games and made big shots at big times. So, they have pieces. There's no doubt. There's talent there, and there's when you play against them, you feel their speed, their quickness, athleticism. Defensively, they're they're a team that plays some man, defense, and kind of varies their ball screen coverage depending on their opponent. And then You know, they also play some zone. And in the past, they've played numerous zones, anything from a 1-3-1 to a 1-2-2 to a 2-3. You know, so you know, you kind of they give you a lot to prepare for sure.
This week, both Oregon State and Oregon haven't played that extra game. They played Monday, I think, and Beavers played last night. Does it feel like maybe the first time you're actually getting a break in this whole scheduling?
I mean, I think it is the first time, but you know, the trick when you get a break is you have to take advantage of it. So therein lies the issue. You know, you can sit here and complain and act like you've been victimized all you want. You know, but again, now the shoe's on the other foot, so you got to take advantage of it, and you know, and hopefully we'll come out and play with some force and some energy and do that.
What did you think? I think that SC game was set for 9 Mountain Time instead of 7. Does that make a difference? I mean, because that means you might get.
What SC game are you talking about?
Next week. I know you don't like to think far ahead, but
Bruce, you're breaking news to me here, so I had no idea. So that's so far ahead for me. I mean, that's like. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but we got the Oregons here this week, right? Then we go to the mountain schools, right? Right? Yeah. So we're talking 5 games away. You know me better than that by now to know that I don't even. What time we play tomorrow?
tomorrow's 5:30.
Yeah, I know that. That's as much as I know. I don't even know what time we play Oregon. So
No, it's just that it was announced yesterday, and I thought, well, that means you're not.
my SID's hiding things from me. So I didn't even know.
Back till 2 a.m. on a midweek night. That's all.
That'll be a great question we can ask after that game.
Did you notice anything that you guys did to prevent turnovers this past time against Washington? Like, what was different compared to the previous time?
Well, we passed the ball to our color jerseys. I mean, that was the biggest thing. You know, I mean, we played better pass and catch. I mean, Washington's tough. I mean, they do that to everybody, and a credit to them. You know, when you are trained in that zone, I mean, I think the things that, you know, maybe the people that don't play a lot of basketball understand is, you know, when you're basically raised your whole life playing man to man, when you transition in defense, you tell them you don't have a man, you got to do this, you do that, but everybody kind of has a man, you know, like so you're pretty man centric going back. Where's my guy? And you're making sure you're getting your early positioning right. When you play a zone the way they do, there is no man. So when their guards are dropping back in transition, we like to play with thrust. So we're coming up the court. Their guards are dropping back. Their guards are like free safeties. They're sitting there reading eyes and doing this and that. They're not worried about running to this guy. Because when they run to this guy and you run to that guy, you start creating passing lanes. You know, it was what happens in transition. They don't. So we have to readjust, kind of, you know, recalibrate our mindset, like how we were transitioning the ball and throwing passes. Because I think here we had 4 or 5, you know, turnovers just on trying to pass the ball up the floor or after a rebound. So you eliminate those, which helps, you know. And then the other thing I've been challenging the guys on, we've been spending a lot of time on fundamentals. And, you know, the way we play, you got to be aggressive, and you cannot be conservative. But so with that, I can't, like, you know, turn the faucet off on our aggression, and then maybe all our playmaking dies. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of a give and take there. So I've just tried to really challenge the guys. Hey, if you could make one better decision, if you could do, you know, maybe one time you get in a bad situation and you play with a little bit better fundamentals. If we have 8 guys doing that, maybe we eliminate 4 turnovers. You know, and like, you know, my turnover number I always have in my mind is, you know, around 12. And, you know, I mean, we're going to turn the ball over some, you know, I mean, and so I just think that we made a little bit better decisions. We've been spending time on fundamentals, and these guys have been awesome learning from, they've been doing a great job taking, you know, one thing we've emphasized, and then it'll show on the court. Maybe not right away, but eventually. So I'm really proud of them. I mean, to have 9 on the road against Washington was a big time thing.
Kind of the nature of the beast, with as much as you guys do pass and share the ball, that you're going to have some throwaways?
Well, for sure. And listen, you don't hit the roll on ball screens or throw ahead, you know, over the top like we do as often without some mistakes. Like, you know, if you want to play mistake-free basketball, for one, I don't know how you're going to survive. And 2, I mean, you know, you're probably not going to create a lot of opportunities for yourself. So I love creating opportunities. And in order to create opportunities, there's a little bit of a give and take. So we just got to keep dialing into our fundamentals, and our guys know. And the great thing about, hey, you don't know how many times in timeouts I've told them, hey, take a breath. We don't need to hit home runs right now. We'll come out the very next play, and they'll try to make a hard play. So, like, you know, so I know that they're hearing it a little bit, but I also know that they're staying aggressive, which makes me happy.
You talk about Pelle Larson, how he's progressed this year and what you want to see from him offensively.
Yeah, I'm really happy with Pella's progress. I mean, I think Pella's going to be a really, really good player in the future, and I've said that over and over, and I think he's on that path now. The biggest thing is Pella. I want Pella to be a great all-around player. I don't want him to be fixated on one area of the game. And, for a while, and I think it's always kind of been his nature, it's pretty cool. You think this kid really wants to be a good passer and loves passing. So that's a pretty cool place to start. Okay, well, now maybe you're fixated on it a little bit too much, and you're not, emphasizing all these other areas in your game you can be so good at. And so I just want him to be a great all-around player that impacts the game in a ton of areas, and he does. I mean, I think, like, you're seeing a guy eventually, like between him, when you have him and Dalen on the court, you have guys that do everything, and those two are both the elite defenders right now. And then, now can they become elite rebounders on a daily basis? Can they become elite playmakers and passers from that wing position? And I really think, they're both trending that way, which is exciting.
What have you thought about Jules over the last 2 weeks or so since he's been ramping up?
I mean, I think he's just healthy. I think he's healthy. I mean, Zoo's had a great year. I think he's another guy that's really gotten better. It may not show, and, people dissect the stats and, his shooting numbers and this and that. I think his overall shooting, I know his 2-point shooting's way up to me, which was the priority. You can't be that big and that strong and not inefficient, around the basket. And he's really made progress there, and he can continue to make progress there. The 3-point shooting for me is that's kind of next on the list. I'm okay with him shooting some here and there, but I've told him I would like him to, consider making some changes to his shot, and then maybe that's more of a little bit of an off-season project, to become really efficient, from the 3 line.
It seems like pretty much everyone on the roster has taken a step up or more this year. What is it about your overall coaching philosophy or style that you think has allowed them to buy in and to see that improvement across everyone, not just a player or two?
I mean, there's 2 tenets to the program, and it's simple, and it's team chemistry and player development. And those are 2 things I take serious and we work at on a daily basis. And, I mean, man, I think it wouldn't be very much fun to show up to work every day and not think you're going to get better, or not have your boss want you to get better, And so, I mean, for me, not that I consider myself their boss, but like I want these guys to get better, and I want them to feel like they want to get better, and I want to create that culture where people get better, and that's just what we're trying to do on a daily basis.
You're locked into the moment, as you just said, but how much value or appreciation do you put into the fact that, winning his first year at this program and the buzz around maybe being a coach of the year?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, you stepped way out of my box right there, and I appreciate the question, and obviously I'm happy with where we're at, and Coach Murph and I were recruiting last night, and we're coming back from recruiting, and we were watching, I was watching our last game against Oregon State, and we've gotten a lot better, which makes me feel good, but again, that's got to show tomorrow night, and that's where my mind's at. All that other stuff, I mean, is stuff we can talk about at the end of the year, it doesn't even, it's not even a blip on my radar, to be honest with you.
Talk about chemistry. Is it more of a challenge this time of year when you're playing well, getting more exposure? I don't know if guys are having people get into their ears about, doing well, blowing them up, and in other words, is it harder?
Yeah. I mean, listen, chemistry is always a challenge. I mean, it's an ongoing, evolving issue, and that doesn't mean that it's not going well, but there's always something that pops up, or human nature, peeks its head in every once in a while and tests all of us, and so we're working on it on a daily basis, and a big thing for me is college game day coming here is a really cool thing. I mean, that point blank, tremendous honor, okay, for the program, for what these guys have accomplished thus far this year. And I just told our guys, like, listen, we got to use it as a tool to allow us to lock in. And, everybody else is going to be excited, but really, college game day has zero impact on what's going to happen Saturday night on the court. So don't let it impact it. We need to be able, and if you're a team that eventually wants to be able to be a program that can make runs in the tournament, do things like that, you got to get comfortable dealing with the craziness that comes with it. And staying locked in, and staying on our path and letting all the craziness happen on the periphery of that. So these are great learning tools from our guys. Like, come on, we're dealing with not one player has played in an NCAA tournament game. So, we got a long ways to go, and we got lots of lessons to learn. And I'm trying to, teach those lessons along the way to help prepare us.
You know what buttons to press. So one time, a few weeks ago, some of you were asked about Kriisa, and you said, "I'm not going to crush his spirit," which seemed to be the right thing to say, about some of the fun he has on the court. Then a couple weeks ago, you kind of got into him a little bit, it looked like, in the huddle. It seems like you know how to push the correct button at the right time.
I mean,
Well, did you learn from somebody?
well, I mean, I wouldn't, let's not give me too much credit, because I'm probably making a lot of mistakes too. So, I mean, as things pop up, you handle them. You handle them, how you feel is best at that time. And obviously, I've had lots of great coaching mentors. I mean, obviously Mark Few's one of them. I mean, if you watch how he carries himself on he and I are definitely not the same person, but when you've been with somebody that long, I mean, you observe a lot of good things. And then, I mean, even Coach Rob's been a great influence on me this year. I mean, in the conversations having with him, and then I got a couple other guys. A guy named Coach Jerry Krause, who was kind of a mentor of mine, a behind-the-scenes guy at Gonzaga, and then a guy coming to visit me this weekend, the old baseball coach at Gonzaga, a guy named Steve Hertz, and then even guys like John Stockton, and my old high school coach Jeff Ryan, and all those guys. You take bits and pieces from them, and then then you got to be authentic and make it your own. And guys, I don't try to predetermine too many things. I mean, how it happens in the moment, it happens. And I think the situation where I got into Kerr, I think he turned the ball over 2 times in a row before halftime. And he's too good to do that. And so we had a quick little conversation, and then we ironed it out, and I make sure I follow up with them. After the game or the next day to make sure we're good, and then we just move forward.
With Kerr, you said the wrist was just something to play through kind of deal, but do you think it's affecting his shooting lately, or ball handling for that?
I mean, and I'm being honest, and Brian will tell you this. The only time I look at the stats is when Brian puts them in front of me at the radio show. So I didn't even know he was shooting a bat. Yeah, I mean, but you know what? It's a game of averages. And I trust that shot. So I feel really good about it this weekend then. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. I don't spend too much time, looking at the stats, because you can look at them every way, sideways, this and that, and you can convince yourself of a lot of things that probably aren't true. And I'm coaching off my gut and my eyes and how things feel. And that's how, not that I don't understand analytics or have some tools that we use, for sure we do. But I'm not trying to get into the numbers, but I mean, I think we need Kerrs. I mean, if you tell me there's another coach in this league that's comfortable when he's shooting an open 3, I'd like to know who he is. And I mean, he's a braver man than I am.
No, I'm wondering, especially if the wrist thing is maybe more than.
I mean, it's his left wrist. I mean, I don't know. When I was always shooting the ball, your left hand really was never involved. So I think he's fine.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes if some guys.
It's actually not his wrist; it's his thumb. But I mean, we're getting a little more technical. But
in a mental sense, just that it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like for a shooter.
I mean, I think if he sees the next one go in, he's fine.
How is Justin Kerr, by the way? Is he over that thing, by the way?
I mean, seems to be to me. I mean, I haven't heard about it in a few weeks, and I love that kid, and I love what he's given the team. He's an incredible teammate. I mean, the way he smiles when he comes to practice every day, and I mean, he literally is a kid that goes out of his way, and it's like, you almost get emotional thinking about it. He sends me a nice text. How many players do that to a coach, And I mean, it's pretty cool.
How responsible is Chris Rounds for Christian Coloco's physique and the players not getting winded up and down the court?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Rounds is experienced, and he's done a great job, and I really enjoyed working with him. I mean, I have a ton of fun with him. And him and J-Rock, they're experienced. I mean, they've been doing this at a high level pretty successfully for a long time. And so, for me, I mean, it was nice to be able to have those guys stick around. And I think it's really helped our transition, my transition, and these players. And I mean, yeah, obviously Rounds gets credit for CeeLo, but at the end of the day, when it comes to players improving, the players get the credit because they're the ones actually doing the work. They have a choice to make. Do they do the work or they don't do the work? Do they invest 100% or not? And so, Christian's, he's still a developing player, and he's made huge progress, and I love where he's going, and yeah, I mean, he's obviously worked really hard.
Did your aerobics training change during the season?
You say aerobics, I went literally into the 80s right there in my mind. But yeah, no, honestly, we kind of practice the same. I mean, we might tone it down here and there, but we never run sets of lines or do anything like that. I mean, I don't even do that in the I mean, we condition playing basketball. I mean, to me, that's the best way to condition is, condition within the framework we play, and so that's what we do. And somehow it always comes together, and I mean, I feel pretty good looking at our guys right now, I mean, I think we've kind of gotten through some dog days, we're just naturally, we're a little bit wore down, and I think we've bounced back from that. And we've been mindful and, maybe sneaking in an extra day off here and there when we can.
Tommy, can you talk about the staff and how you guys interact with the bench? We see you pacing. Ricardo Foyce has lots of energy. Coach Robinson, Coach Murphy. How do you guys interact?
I mean, that's probably exactly what we look like when we go out to dinner together. I mean, I think everybody's themselves, I mean, Coach Rob's the calm, rock solid influence. Murphy's always a little bit agitated. And Ricky's very emotional. And then then I get fired up once in a while. But it's fun. I mean, it's been a ton of fun doing it with those guys. I mean, we have great synergy, great connection. We have great conversations. We're honest with each other, and I think at the end of the day, we're all pulling the rope in the same direction. And to be honest with you, no one's looking for any credit. So it makes it fun. I mean, it makes it fun to come to work every day, and I really, really appreciate those guys, as do all the other guys. I mean, those young guys on our staff are really talented, and you guys are going to be hearing about them in the future. I mean, Jason Gardner, I mean, I'm obviously getting to know him better. It's been great. I mean, I love Ryan Anderson's energy, and he's really growing. And then, you got, Rim, who's really talented. Ken, TJ, I mean, those guys are great, and they've been with me for a long time. And am I missing anybody, Nate? I'm always bad, and I put myself on the spot. But yeah, but they're awesome, and they're all really talented guys, and honestly, 100% selfless. So it's been fun. Oh, Brigger, I mean, come on, Brigger gets too much credit, and the Bengals lost, so we're kind of pushing him to the side for a while, and he's got to get back on the winning side. All right, guys, have a good one. See you tomorrow.
No questions for Jason.
Tommy just said that it's your left thumb that has been bothering you. In what way is it affecting you when you're out there?
It hurts.
Is it affecting anything with your passing, your shooting, or anything to that effect?
I don't know if, I mean, it hurts. I don't know if it affects. It hurts when I play. It hurts when I eat. It hurts.
Do you know where you first heard it?
A long time ago. I don't remember what game it was, but it already healed better, and it's really hard because you just keep getting hit. So basically, when you get a hit, it goes back to beginning. So before Washington game, I was doing pretty good already, except the ASU game. But yeah, I got another hit, but I'll be fine. I mean, J-Rock is such a good trainer, and we'll figure something out, and yeah, I'll be fine.
Is this your first time going through an injury like this?
Oh no.
Is it the kind of thing where other teams know, okay, his left thumb is hurting him, let's go after that? I mean, do you have to worry about that?
I mean, you gotta ask other teams, I guess. I mean, if I was a coach, I would tell the players to do that.
In a sense, does it affect your shooting at all in your mind? I mean, when things aren't quite right, even though it's not necessarily your shooting hand?
I think it's more mental. I think it's just, nothing crazy. I'll be fine.
Any basketball questions?
Kerr, how would you describe Chris Rounds as a trainer? Is he somebody who put a program out for you, and how much has he contributed to the team being in shape this year, or how would you describe him as a trainer?
No, he's great. I mean, obviously, everybody, I mean, when I first got here, I gained right away like 15 pounds with Rounds, so Rounds is a really good strengthening coach, but he's even better person. He really helps the team not only with the strength stuff, but also team chemistry, mental stuff. So he's a big part of our success for sure.
Interesting. Any specific example on that that you're able to share?
Sorry?
Any specific example on that that you're able to share of a moment when he gave you maybe mental encouragement or something along those lines?
I think this should stay inside the team.
The reaction like from you and your teammates hearing that College Game Day was coming here on Saturday?
I mean, I didn't even know what it was, so I was
You're
just.
not normally up at 9 a.m. watching the pregame shows for basketball?
No, I've never no. When I think it was actually after Washington game when we got to the bus and then we saw it and then I was just like I asked Jordan Maines or somebody like what is that, and then they were like explaining to me that they just come to town, do all this stuff. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah.
Kerr, can you talk about what this season's been like for you confidence-wise with your shooting? There's times where you were really up, there's times where you scuffled, and then came back up again?
I mean, yeah, if everything went only upwards, I'd probably be in NBA right now. If I make every shot, I would be in NBA. So it's sports, it's basketball, it's up and down game. Who is most consistent is obviously the best player on the court. So I'm not, it's not that I'm not trying to be consistent, but it's, it's really hard because it's game of sports and it's hard to always be consistent. But it's more again mental. You have better games, you have worse games. You learn from both of these games. Either it's bad or good. So yeah.
There's more pressure on you. The better this team does, it's almost harder to be in your position as a point guard running the show here kind of thing. Everybody looking at you and dissecting everything you do,
I mean, not really. Probably 5-6 months ago when we started with our preseason stuff, so nobody really believed in us. So, like, I wouldn't put any extra pressure on us because now we're doing pretty good. There was a lot of haters, so I don't know. Now they're fans, I guess. So it's welcome to the fan club. But I wouldn't put extra pressure on me, no. And
when all that was going on in the preseason, did you envision this? I mean, even Tommy said something like, he said some things over the season about didn't expect that or whatever. I mean, did you think it would play out as well as you guys have played this so far?
Well, Tommy is a very shy person, so I'm sure he did say that. But I think, I mean, we knew that we can be good, and I mean, we haven't like really done anything yet. So it's really important the next 5-6 weeks or upcoming weeks to finish the things up. But like I said, so far so good.
What did Tommy say during that time, or even last offseason, to get you to buy in, come out of the transfer portal, and get ready for this year?
What Tommy told me?
Yeah, get you to buy in.
I mean, he said he's the most European American coach in the country. So it was, pretty easy decision for me, and I liked his vision. I liked how he puts a lot of things to team chemistry and building the team and stuff like this. So this was really important for me, and I also liked his how he saw the game on the basketball court.
How has he coached you through this year? You talked about trying to be consistent, and that's a challenge all the time. How has he helped you try to attack that?
He's cool. He's a very, very good. He's helped me. We talk a lot, like before practice, after practice, just little small talks, But he's always been there for me, and he will always be there for me. So I can trust him.
How would you describe Tommy Lloyd's communication skills?
I mean, for me, he's like a little father for me. He's he's taking care of me, like on the court, off the court, always talking to me, texting before the games. Like he's a really big mentor for me, and I believe for all of our team. So it's also a really big part of our success.
You have a lot of personality on the court, Lloyd kisses, interacting with the fans. Where's that come from?
It comes from the passion to the game. I think, I mean, if I would be in stands, I would, like, if I go to a basketball game, I would love to see that stuff. So I feel like it just makes the environment more fun. And, I mean, college basketball is hella fun. So, yeah, it just comes from the passion and love for the game.
Your parents are athletes, your sister's an athlete. I mean, did any of them have that kind of personality to their or passion, as you say, to their games that maybe you got it from too?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that my family were like similar to me when it came down to their sports. Either it was gymnasts, figure skating, or basketball. My dad never showed motions. My sister, she didn't much either. And my mom, yeah, I don't even remember because that was so long time ago. But shout out to my mom because I know she's watching this right now.